Hello everybody, welcome back to the Murphy table. I just wanted to do a quick 1 or 2 minute correction. When I first did the unboxing, I wanted to show all the components, although I was wrong about these scenario cards. One of the beauties of opening a box and not knowing what you're supposed to have, I thought that these scenario cards were scenarios. Well, they're scenario aid cards. So basically all your scenarios are going to come from your 3 campaign booklets, and then you'll have all the scenarios in there. But in addition to the booklet, the scenario cards contain additional information for you. Alright, like so for example, here's Chechen Christmas, for example. So this has information about that particular scenario, but then you would come here to your supplemental cards and get your additional information about troops. So when I first did the unboxing, I got that wrong. I thought that these were additional scenarios and the books were scenarios as well. These are actually player aid cards that supplement the books. And I wanted to put this at the beginning of the video, that way when you watch it you'll kind of know what I'm talking about when you get to that section. So that doesn't take away from the value of the game as far as how many scenarios there are. There's, like I said, you got 3 campaign books spanning a huge chunk of history, so there's a lot to play here. It's just I just wanted to clear that up. So these are not separate scenarios. These are the support tables and support cards for the scenario books. Alright, so enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks a lot. Bye. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Murphy table. So what we've got today is Urban Operations by Nuts Publishing. This is a review copy that they sent, so this just came in. We plan on having, let's see if I can get the whole package there. We're planning on having a review in Yaw Magazine issue 10. That's still a few months out. At the time of this recording, that's still a few months away. And then we're going to do an after action for issue 11. So we're going to spend some coverage on this particular game. And I say game, but actually this is going to be more of a system. That's what's fantastic about this, why I'm so excited. So before we open it, now there is some glare from the lights, I apologize, just trying to find the best spot to put some lighting, but it's some glare off of the shrink wrap. So the glare should go away once we take this off. Just some pictures on the back then, without zooming in all the way. So essentially this is focusing on, it says here, combined arms combat in urban environments. This is interesting because there's a lot of games where you have urban, and the countryside type of fighting. This one is really focusing on those urban operations. Like for example, when I say system, let's see, like down here, it's got 3 campaigns that come in the base box. There's Fulda, 1985. Now, lots of people don't necessarily associate urban operations with the Cold War invasion of West Germany by Russia. Usually you're thinking plains and open fields, but at some point you got to take the cities. There's also a campaign for Mogadishu, 1993, Day of the Rangers type of thing. That definitely was urban operations, so you get to see the Rangers and the vehicles and things they brought for city fighting. And this got here 4 aces, so this is actually a lot of urban operations here. It covers Fallujah, 2004. I'm trying to read this upside down. Basra, 2003. Then this has Grozny of 1995, and I can't pronounce that, upside down. But there's another one here for 1978. So again, this is the very fascinating of focusing really on the urban aspects. And the rules are online for free, and you can look in there, and some of that was to show that there's a lot of differences between open field fighting and then urban combat. All right, so that's the premise of the system. That's why I call it a system, is because it can, it scales for different years, different scenarios, different situations. And I believe from the website too, there's going to be more that comes out. So this gives you a pretty good idea of the flexibility of the system, just just within the 3 campaign books and the years that they covered. All right, and it is a block game. And on the back, it does show like a sample of a scenario card, and then it shows a sample of some of the blocks that you'll have, and some of the unit cards, and an example of the map. So lots of good stuff in here. Very high quality. I love Nuts Publishing. They put out a lot of good stuff. So let's grab the old scissors that don't seem to be very sharp. There we go. Always afraid I'm going to cut the box. So let's go ahead and rip. Oh, there you go. You can read the names right there. How do you pronounce this one? Colwezi? I'm not sure. Colwezi? I know I said that one wrong, so y'all can correct me. Put a pronunciation guide for me. Yeah, public school education. I didn't read the specific components here. Now I will say here it says it's a game by Sebastian de Payret. You read that? Zoom in, read the name for me. Alright. And then all the components there. So this isn't all the components, that's just some. But we'll take a look at all the components because we're going to open it up. I did mention a block game. I mentioned that because this is going to be the first block game I have. And the artwork is fantastic. Trying to line this up good for the camera. Alright, so there you are. So I take this off. I guess I could put that on the tripod even higher up. So the lid comes off. Now I had to admit that the post office didn't do me any favors. I got a little bit of, probably hard to see, it doesn't really matter, but there's just a little bit of package bulge. It got squished. Nothing to do with the company, totally everything to do with the delivery, which is always a shame. It's always a fear I have. Some of my components even got knocked loose a little bit. Here's a card. Alrighty, so it mostly survived the journey intact. So again, this isn't the fault of the company or the packing. I blame this on international weather. You know, the boxes get kind of bounced around a little bit. A couple counters are out, but that's okay because I got to punch counters and clip them anyway. Alright, so having the game kind of blow it up a little bit. So here we have cards. Now I'm looking from my side. Looks like these are unit cards. Try to get some light on there so you can see it. Hopefully it's in focus. It looks in focus here. So it looks like we've got Russian engineers. That's always makes my heart warm to see. I was a 12 Bravo combat engineer, so I always like to see the engineers. What do we got here? Commander. Alright, and this is a Paracad. I guess that's, I don't know. This has words I can't pronounce. It's Italian. Anyway, so this first pack of cards I opened, these look like units. Fantastic. And their color, this is nice. I like armor. So you have an armored fighting vehicle here. So the artwork is actually photographs, and that's fantastic. The image takes up most of the card, which is great because I'm a visual person. I like to be able to see what it is that we're talking about. And it's not overly taken up with stats, so it has a little stat block here. Country of origin, vehicle name. Looks like years in service, so this is 80 to now. Here are some other engineers, UK engineers. Again, always nice to see. Infantry. So this one here, UK. Now this has quite a bit more stats, but then, you know, infantry can be very diverse with training and whatnot. So you can see there's quite a bit of stat block. Lots of information there. So this is very nice. So unfortunately this did come a little mixed up in the box, so I might have other cards floating around. Yes, I do. I found some more in the box here we'll take a look at. But then here's some It says from unit from Chechnya. There you go. So the cards are actually really nice, and they're good quality cards too. You know, like playing cards. They're not overly flimsy or anything like that, and that's great. Just you'll have them off to the side, and they'll have your stats. So I'll just show you one more here. Here's Humvees. They might say, so is this all infantry? No, that's actually I've seen on the website there that they got some tanks. I'm just flipping through real quick. So for example, this isn't the only tank, but just the first one I saw. Because, you know, tanks can be used in urban. There's a T-55. So even now, like in Syria, you know, they have like T-72s rolling around. Then we've got some UN type vehicles. ZSU 23-4. So with some of these vehicles, here's an M109 howitzer. You know, sorry, just trying to find how it might look good on the camera. So it's really hard to say if you can't take some of this game information and make scenarios that are outside of a city. I don't think the maps really are open to big, wide open field combat. Alright, just bear with me a moment. I'm trying to find some of the cards that fell out of that pack, which is, it happens, it's unfortunate. Here's an M1A1. So again, just grabbing up some of the cards that were unfortunately loose. So there you go, we got some M1A1s. I don't know if they have anything current like M1A2s, that might come later. And then we have here, looks a little different. Oh, 4 aces. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I'm looking. The back of the cards that had blown open all say urban operations. So I'm guessing that's in support of the basic game. Because what we have then here is a pack of cards which is 4 aces. So it's possible that, you know, we got vehicle cards and cards specific for certain missions in the campaigns. Now this says 4 aces. I'm going to open it. I didn't want to because it's wrapped good. Oh, it comes right open. So I'm wondering if this has got cards for all the scenarios. Yeah, there we go. So here I have, I don't know if they're all mixed together, but right here I've got a few cards specifically for the 4 aces. Then we have a stack of cards for Mogadishu. I will show you some. I didn't show you any of the 4 aces, I'm sorry, but then the other campaign was Mogadishu. So this has got, come on guys, we gotta go. It's got some flavor texts and looks like some combat modifiers, so this might give you some fog of war cards, right? Random things that might happen while you're playing. You might have to draw an event card. Like here's one that says medics. I'm just flashing it at you. Aggressive leader. I know. If you really want to read it, you can pause. Whatever that one is, hidden in the mob. Yeah. So that's nice. So we've actually got 3 sets of campaign cards, and then this has a couple generic urban op cards, and then here is, so here were some more vehicles that were attached, some helicopters, some of the aircraft. I know my fingers are in the way. AC-130 gunships. Nice. So just so you know, unit types then are varying types of infantry, mortar crew here. It's also got air assets in the form of support aircraft. I know it's turning out as an angle, I gotta hold it just right. But you have support aircraft, helicopters, big planes, things like that. In addition to, so a nice big stack of equipment and people. This is gonna give you a lot of gaming. I can almost guess that not all of this is used in every single scenario in the game. So this actually could leave it open to where you can design a lot of your own scenarios with this equipment. And it looks like the latest year was around 2005, somewhere in there. So you can't do the most current conflicts, but you can do a lot of conflicts up to that point. Okay, we got some baggies, a couple of 10-sided dice. Now, I haven't looked yet to see if it's just 2 10-sided dice or if this is going to be percentile or a combination of both. I don't see any other dice, so I can't tell you if this is going to require some dice 6s or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that if you needed more dice than this, they would be in the box. So I got 2 10-sided dice. Another baggie. Now, because my package shifted en route, some of the counters have popped out. Super 6-1, so I know right away this is going to be, if that focuses, Super 6-1, that's definitely going to be one of my Mogadishu counters. And then we've got probably some kind of wound marker. Now this is nice. Check this out. Wreck with Smoke is a rather long counter. So depending on how that fits on the map, this actually can really physically represent smoke from a vehicle as it drifts across the field or through areas of play. And here's a couple activated. Now these counters are pretty thick, very sturdy, very legible. I know, like, that is actually important to me. So these are very, very legible, and they do come with rounded corners. Now it looks like there's a very thin connection point, so these should pop out pretty easy, which is probably why I have a few that are floating around. But for the most part, very good, very thin, or at least for the ones that have popped out. They're very good condition, and the corners are already rounded, and there's no puff or fluff on the corners, although I probably will still take my corner rounder just because I'm a completionist that way. Here is the 4 Aces booklet. You can see that. So this is it says a great campaign for urban operations. This is nice. This is not, it's not cardstock. It's kind of glossy paper, kind of like magazine paper. So it's nice and in color, as you can see there. This is actually very, very nice. I'm looking here at page numbers as I flip through. So this looks like it's got, the scenario itself, and then, so I just see here tactical advice. So there's little sub notes on additional notes, so it's not just simply here's the troops involved. Looks like it gives you a lot of basic concept. That's nice. Nice section on scenario setup, then basic concept that you're trying to accomplish, building information. Very good. Lots of notes to go along to help you play the scenario out. And what's on the back here, you have each player rolls 1d10 in the event sequence and consults his column in the table. So you got some events that could happen based on your campaign. So there's a Phantom Fury 1, and then Operation Sinbad chart. Okay, so that's the 4 Aces campaign. Then, yeah, it looks like I had something pop out of here. Nope. Alright, now this is put together for me. So that means I'm going to automatically rip this open. Let's show you what's in here. These are upside down. Let me flip around. Looks like these are player aid cards. Ooh, there's actually quite a bit here. So these are one-sided. This is a kind of a glossy cardstock. So here we have terrain effects chart, possibly a turn tracker at the bottom for me to use. Has sequence of play, turn track, terrain effects chart. That's the first one. Then we have combat. This must be combat summary, which is nice. Good. Several steps involved in combat. Then on the back you've got explanation of the data cards. And your event card right there. And yes, that is an M1A2, so it does get from the 90s to now, so fairly modern equipment. And now I don't know if these scenarios are part of a particular campaign, because I saw the campaign book for 4 aces, but now I've got some cards here that could just be base game scenarios. So you've got Lunch at Frankfurt, because I don't see any indication if this says like is part of Folded Gap or anything like that. Team Yankee, commanded by Captain Milton, is ordered to stop any breakthrough. So Team Yankee, good book. Read that many, many years ago. So that's a scenario card. This has 2 scenarios on it. And looks like we have quite a few scenarios. Operation Sinbad. Okay. So the basic game itself has quite a few scenarios. They're coming. This is double-sided, so there's 2 per side. So what is that? That's Lunch at Frankfurt, so that's 2 scenarios, 4 scenarios, 6 scenarios. Well, some of these might be either, oh, you know, alright, so what I'm seeing, not that there's a scenario on each side, which there is, but if you see here, I've got Lunch at Frankfurt, This has a scenario card specifically for the Ally setup, and then a card specifically for the Axis or Warsaw Pact setup. So you're going to get a handful of scenarios, and this could be part of the fog of war. You know, so if you're going to sit down and play with your buddy, you wouldn't want to look at all of the scenarios ahead of time. You'd want to find for the side that you're playing, get your load out, and then give him his card or her. Figure out what you're doing from there. So each person is going to get their own scenario card. That's actually very, very cool. Let me just see if I'm mostly correct. Yeah, so for example, mine are kind of mixed up together a little bit. So again, we got this scenario here, they're coming. So there's I got Allied setup. No, that's the Axis setup, and then here's the Allied setup. It's awesome. You got a handful of scenarios. I won't count them all out just because I don't want to lose your interest too much here. So there you go. We've got quite a few scenarios that don't look like they're linked to any particular campaign. Wow. You know, if I just kind of... there's a lot of game in this box without even doing the full campaigns. That's a lot of gaming. Then you had the 4 Aces campaign book. Alright, on the back of this one, oh, Phantom Fury. So this has some charts and table information for Phantom Fury. So that might mean a couple of these scenario cards have information on the back. No, mostly it looks like just this one here. So this has got some Phantom Fury charts on it. Then here's the other campaign book, Mogadishu, 93. That's when I was there. I was there from September 93 to like February of 94. It was only like a 6-month deployment. It wasn't anything special, but Restore Hope. So it's going to have your historical background and then a campaign overview. And then after the campaign overview, pops right into some scenarios. Quite a few scenarios there, and then some information on the back. Ooh, historical variants. Awesome. So that's your second campaign in there. So you got 4 Aces, Mogadishu. What is this? Stickers. Oh, you know, in my mind, I just remember seeing counters. So I found some more of my wayward counters. Carry on my wayward counter. And then I saw the sticker sheet. My first thought was, these are some extremely thin counters. And then I remembered, oh yeah, silly, it's a block game. So there is a sticker sheet for the big bag of blocks. Now, there looks to be a lot more blocks than stickers, so I'm assuming we got more stickers coming up. Then here's your Folded Gap campaign, World War III in Germany. Okay, so that's the 3 campaign books. So, I mean, like I said, I'm amazed at how many scenarios they have in here. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of gaming for you. Here's some more stickers. So that's 2 sticker sheets that I have. The only reason why it's good for me to pull this out, and I'll have to check it against the component list, is because my box kind of got jostled around a little bit. Here's the Urban Operations rule book. Now, this has some charts on the back. Yeah, I'm kind of sad it got jingled a little bit, jingled around in there because some of this tore up a little bit. Still legible. Again, not any fault of Nuts Publishing, just courtesy of, you know, delivery. So again, kind of that nice quality paper, full color, good stuff. There's your Rex Toxic Smoke. And again, the rules are online for free. Let me shift it over this way too. And when I last looked, I haven't looked within the last week or so, they had, I think they had the campaign books, but they were up in French. So if you keep checking back, you might be able to get the campaign books in English as well, which would be good for me to put on my tablet because I don't want to damage my books any further. So there's a lot of your rules. I'm not going to cover you all the rules, but this is nice because since everything is full color, I got great full color examples. Notes, the design section, so I like to see design notes. So without having read this, I can't tell you how clear it is and how easy it is to follow the rules. I haven't read it yet. I know the rule book is there. I was, you know, waiting till I got it in my hands to read it. So I haven't read this. I have not done my homework yet. But again, lots of pictures and diagrams, which is great because I'm a visual person. I always appreciate some charts and diagrams. Here's my counter sheet, which I can see where some of the counters have unceremoniously been popped out for me. Looks like I got 2 counter sheets. And yeah, it's like the counters are pretty much already punched all the way through and maybe held in place. I mean, they're ready to come out. There's no, yeah, these come out really easy. I'm telling you, that's good. What are these? 5/8? Not quite. A little bit bigger than 1/2 inch, I think. I learned that from Mark Walker. If they're really small, it's a 1/2 inch. If they're a little bit bigger than really small, they're probably 5/8 for those counters. These, like what, 2.5 inches long for the billowing smoke that comes out of your wreck. So we got 2 counter sheets. So this will be informational. Your sticker sheets are the action that tell you the combat values. And then, yeah, these are just coming out now. And then you have your counters, which are going to be informational. So fantastic. Then we have a map overlay. So this is a fold out here. Hopefully that comes across pretty good for you to see. So there's at least 1 map overlay. And here's a map. And these are really good looking. So I probably won't unfold one entirely. But as you can see, even if I get this up close, hopefully that focuses for you. But you can tell, really great artwork. The hex size on that, maybe 1 inch. I don't have a ruler. So maybe 1 inch hexes, maybe a little bit smaller. I'm not good at guesstimating. But what I like is, especially on this side, where, because again, urban, so you have a lot of buildings. What's nice is you can see where, looks like through doorways, windows, there's marked arrows and indicators kind of helping you judge for line of sight, maybe ingress and egress points. This is one of the maps here. Well, and they're double-sided. They are paper. They're not flimsy paper though. I know the camera can't really give this justice, but the artwork on these are really good, and the detail is fantastic. The detail is great. So it'd be nice to get these out onto the table. So if you plexiglass game, these will look really, really good. Alright, so we have at least 1 map. Now this map here I saw as I was pulling this one out, looks like tunnels and sewers. If that's even a map. Yeah, underground, the sewers. So they're double-sided. So it's possible that, you know, if you do go into the sewers, you just pull out the sewer that you're at. This automatically made me think of Dungeons and Dragons. So here we have your dungeons and all your sewers there. So various sewer sizes for different engagements. And then we have one more map. So you've got at least 2 double-sided maps. Again, both of them have great artwork. You have, there's map number 2. You have a nice sewer underground layout. It mentions here the bunker, so not necessarily all sewer, but you have tunnels and passages. I say sewer because it looks like you got a lot of manhole covers. So depending on how you play out, it shows here like underground L. So if you're on your main map, there's probably a counter here that corresponds, yeah. So depending on the map that you're playing on, you can then pop out your corresponding manhole cover to match up with a spot on the underground map. Very cool, so that's very versatile. Then your one map overlay, you get 2 counter sheets, you get 2 sticker sheets, you get, let me just put these together here real quick, you get a lot of data informational cards, 3 packs of various sizes depending on the campaign that it's for. So you have 1 small pack for Full to Gap. You have a slightly smaller stack of cards for the 4 Aces campaign pack. And then you actually have a fairly good size stack of cards for the Mogadishu campaigns. Great. And as I see the different bags, I'll have to see if I can get some of these baggies if they're big enough to hold the cards. Since my baggies came kind of spread out, unfortunately. Then you have a very large stack of units ranging from, let's see, 80s. What's the oldest thing I can find on here? Oh, here we go. The Legion, French Legion. These particular stats of French Legion, it says from the 60s up until 70. Yeah, 60 to 70. So it's possible there are more Legion. Yeah, this set, oh, that's like a commander for the Legion. Marines. I'd have to dig through here. I don't know if they have more Legion or if that's it. But this gives you a wide variety of vehicles, equipment, and troops over several decades that you can play with. Either create your own scenarios or all the scenarios that come in here. Your 2 dice, your blocks, your 3, well, okay, rule book, 3 campaign books, and then, my goodness, a couple of player A charts, and then just, I mean, a ginormous stack of scenario cards. And then some baggies to help you sort it all. Boom. That is, again, a lot of game. Now the nice thing is you get your 1 set of rules, and then the scenario cards looks like they'll give you some specifics to that particular engagement that you need to worry about. But again, that's why I say this is a system. 1 set of rules, and then the scenario dictates special cases and conditions for that particular scenario. But you've got a good, it looks like 20 or so years, 2 to 3 decades worth of gaming that you can do here. So fantastic stuff. I can't wait to get in here, learn how to play, and then maybe show you how the stickered up blocks and things look like. So if you have any questions about the game, any comments that you want to leave, how to properly pronounce names on here, please share your thoughts and opinions. But we've hit about 30 minutes on this, and that's probably a lot more than you want to hear from me. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. And up goes the hand to find the power button. And there it is. All right. So long, everybody.